Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 28th, which makes it 90 days out from December 27th. 2 days past Christmas now, closing in on New Year's. We always talk about this, how quickly everything goes. And with all the business you guys are putting together, it only seems to move faster. So I do want to talk about making sure that we are celebrating all the little things. We're going to get to that in a minute. Let's get through the schedule first before we close in on that. We are supposed to have Dr. Westcott here, although I do believe there are some arrangements taking place in the training room here in Portsmouth. Don't forget, as we get through the schedule today, big day, we are foregoing Maine and New Hampshire contracts for our quarterly visit with Attorney Hyde. He's coming in to do risk mitigation. So as we get through the events of right now, we're going to be closing in on Ignite, which continues, and it wraps up toward the end of the month. Ignite is going on at 9 o'clock. You can lean into that. You could also watch it later, recorded, should you choose. I would recommend that if you are a Vermont agent, you should be on the Zooms, kellertv.com. For Vermont contracts, that is at 9 o'clock. Then at 10 o'clock, we switch over. It is 10 to 12 is going to be 2 hours of risk mitigation. So no Maine, no New Hampshire, just today. This is streaming in Portsmouth, also live in Portsmouth, but we'll be streaming from Portsmouth, I should say. And then it's also available on the big screen in Meredith this morning as well. So Attorney Hyde comes in. He's going to go through and talk about some deals, some conversations, some things that took place. I'm going to leave it right there. So as there are questions that come up, there are questions people are going to ask. There are certain things that he has been privy to that are past tense that he can offer insights to as a way. Again, this is risk mitigation, right? This is making sure that you guys are aware of the legalities of the industry that we work in. So it's a great opportunity to be in the room with one of our greatest assets, Attorney Hyde, from 10 to noon. So if you're in the Portsmouth area, jump in the room. They will be live here and then streaming out to you guys on Keller TV. And then if you're in Meredith, you can be in the room and do a shared viewing and hang out with the crew up there. So this is also, much like contracts, not recorded. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this. I think Dr. Westcott is coming to join me at some point this morning. We just don't do it. And Attorney Hyde has been the one that has recommended that we do not do it. These conversations are not evergreen. The rules aren't changing every 12 seconds, but the paperwork and the nuances and the conversations are always in flux. So we want to give you guys the best information of the week when we sit in contracts and have those conversations. So they are not recorded. Above and beyond that, we do have opportunities on Tuesdays with the region now and on occasional Saturdays for dual career agents to lean in for training issues and maybe get some guidance on where to get their best information. And again, for you guys, obviously, you understand you have access to all of our brokers, our managing broker, Jennifer Vachon, assistant managing broker, Jason Westcott. Then you've got Alice for Massachusetts. You've got Karen Hamilton, who is our broker in the state of Maine. Above and beyond that, we have some of our brokers who have their licenses in multiple states. We have the expertise of one of our great agents who sits on the commission, Sue Doyle, and then above and beyond that, Attorney Hyde also sits on the commission. So the ability to have our ear to the ground and bring this information back to the agent body is second to none, I will say, for sure. And the amount of agents we have at our market center causes us to be market leaders, so we need to behave that way. And we talk about this all the time, contracts class, and then, of course, today, having it be superseded by risk mitigation. It's a non-starter. Your Wednesday mornings, if no other morning is guarded, and we talked about this yesterday, we've got to guard our mornings. I need you to be selfish in the morning so you can be selfless in the afternoon. If our Wednesday mornings aren't guarded, I want you to have an honest conversation between you and your cat or you and yourself and find out what's more important than understanding the contracts that we are entrusted with to guide our clients through these transactions. This is not something you have to do. This is something we get to do. And there is not another, said with supreme confidence, there's not another brokerage certainly in the region, maybe in the region, we got some pretty smart people in the region. There's nobody in our immediate area that is having a risk mitigation class on a regular basis. Nobody. And if you've never been and you're thinking, I don't know if this is for me, should I be in the room? You should. You should be listening. You should be listening. It's 2 hours. 2 hours with our brokerage's counsel as he navigates some of the stuff that's come up in the last quarter. So please lean into that. That is Keller TV. That starts at 10, right after Vermont contracts. And then Dr. Westcott is in the building to help with all of that kind of stuff. And then in person, he taught this yesterday in Meredith, in person today in Portsmouth, 12:30 to 2:30. He's doing land deals. So a great opportunity for that. Now tomorrow, Big Rocks tomorrow. There's a couple cool things going on right here in Portsmouth. And one of them will be hybrid. You have an opportunity to jump into the first business planning clinic of the fall. That is tomorrow here in Portsmouth. There's also a hybrid ticket. If you click the link that's in the news, there's an opportunity to click and do the Portsmouth class, or October 27th, a month from now, will be in Meredith. Our intention is to be in North Conway in November. We are just solidifying the date that we've chosen because we have a training room in our new space that is shared with the hospital in North Conway. So we're solidifying that our date is going to be okay. Above and beyond that, our next date is going to be in York at the new building. Say it real fast. It sounds cool. The New York building. The New York building. That's coming in December. And we've got a loose and flowing date on that, too. We just want to make sure we are set and ready to go. Otherwise, we do have another place that Virginia has in her hip pocket. Actually, maybe she's resting it on her stomach now. I have no idea what she's doing with it. But she's got another place that we've used before. It is phenomenal as a backup if we cannot utilize our training space in York just yet in December, which I trust we will. So those dates are coming. But for right now, you can be in Portsmouth tomorrow or on your couch tomorrow. There's a hybrid opportunity. Come to the building if you can. Be in the room with the other people. Let's crowdsource our greatness. October 27th, the final Thursday of October, will be in Meredith. Same. You can be in the room or you can be hybrid. So please lean into those. When you go into Eventbrite, just choose, let us know whether you're going to be in the building or on the intertubes so we can prepare accordingly for sustenance. There will be food in the room for lunch, brought to you by our dear friends, Brad Kelly and the team at Movement Mortgage. So don't overthink it, overdo it, be in the class and enjoy that. Tomorrow also in Portsmouth from 10 to 11, it's Nate. It's going to run past 11, just a guess. He's doing in the Agent Lounge, the Shark Tank here in Portsmouth. There's a commercial mastermind with Nathan Dickey, our fearless leader. That's at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So you're asking yourself, well, I was going to do business planning clinic, but I'm also a commercial agent and I want to be with Nate. Everyone wants to be with Nate. I get that. Go be with Nate. You can punch out and go be with Nate and then come back. You could decide that you're going to just spend the morning with Nate and not running back and forth between rooms and then just go to Meredith in October. You could also go to North Conway in November, or you go to York in December. There's a reason we have 4, because if it gets to January 35th and you still haven't been in business planning clinic, then we need to have an honest conversation about what you decided not to plan for. Anxiety only exists where there's a lack of a plan. Anxiety only exists where there's lack of a plan. So please lean into these opportunities for business planning clinic. We are doing one more additional business planning clinic. We were asked by our dear friend down in Massachusetts. We're going to be heading down. I believe we're going to be at the Chestnut Hill Business Center, or more, actually, it's an additional market center. The Chestnut Hill Market Center, and we're going to be offering a class at that market center that will also, I believe, go hybrid. And we'll have more when we have more details, we'll have more details. This is going to be Wednesday, November 2nd. Wednesday, November 2nd, if you want to make the trip down to meet some of your Massachusetts friends. That's going to be a combined effort between Framingham, the Boston Metropolitan office, and the Chestnut Hill office. And we'll be leading that discussion for Business Planning Clinic Wednesday, November 2nd. More details to come for that. We're excited to head that way and hang out with our friends down there. Beautiful downtown Chestnut Hill. So all that being said, there are your training opportunities. You are overthinking it, I assure you. Start to lean into these. Start to build a plan. And if you've never been to Business Planning Clinic and you think a prerequisite is you have to read the Red Book, say that 10 times fast. You do not have to read the Red Book to be in class tomorrow. Class tomorrow is going to give you better insight on what the Red Book is all about. What do we speak of? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the MREA book, right? We're going to break down all the models. And you hear us always talk about the 4 models, and now you're hearing people, well, there's a 5th model now. Her name's Giselle. Just kidding. Not kidding. It is expansion, which is a long-term, long-tail play for some of you. And please understand, with everything that we're going to discuss tomorrow, this is all built around $1 million business, right? We're using this MREA model that the book subscribes to, that Gary teaches us. We're using that model because invariably most of your worlds can fit inside that conversation. Because all you're going to do is plug and play with your numbers. So what do you need tomorrow? I need you to show up with your head and your heart open to learn. I need you to be, I'd say, well-rested. It's a full day. It's a full day training. But we're going to ask you to spend a day with us so you can plan your next year. 1 day to plan 364 more days. And being in the room tomorrow, double gold star from me for that. I think if you're in the room tomorrow, you have a leg up because you can put these things into practice immediatamente. That's Spanish for yesterday. I'm joking. You can put them into practice immediately, and then you can start to garner results faster than most, should you start to do the work. Because if you start doing the practices on October 1st, that will turn into opportunities that'll come to fruition on January 1st. And then you're lighting up your first quarter. Above and beyond that, if you're jumping into bold as well, happy days. Because now you're going to light it up. If you're jumping into bold, you're super good. Because you're pouring kerosene on your business in the fourth quarter. Business Planning Clinic helps you get ready and start to build the activities on top of that. And your first quarter's on fire. I was talking to somebody yesterday, one of our great agents yesterday. And he's always super curious. He always asks me what I'm hearing from other agents, what I think the vibe is. And now all I gather from my desk, right? I don't sell anymore. All I gather from my desk, guys, is the intel and the perspective from you guys. So rather than, because when people ask me that kind of question, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt they're looking for me to let them off the hook and be like, oh yeah, it's rough out there. You should just go home. Like, I'm never going to say that. I'm never going to say that to you guys. What I did have to share with him is what I do know, and it happened yesterday, it's going to happen today, it's going to happen tomorrow, as my grandmother would say. Somebody's quitting today. Somebody's got their first full day off today because they decided to quit last night. And maybe they quit for the quarter, maybe they're taking the rest of the month off, or maybe they're punching in. They got the email, their dues are due. And they're like, I'm good. Now, my contention is that somebody that's doing that probably wasn't or probably will not be leaving much on the table, but they're also not making any phone calls. My point being, the person that is going to take today off, take the week off, take the rest of the quarter off, or just walk away from real estate, they're leaving cheese. You can go steal their cheese today. Because if you take today off, someone will find the person that you should have spoken to. It's my pickle jar theory. Don't go loosen the lid so somebody else can open it up and get all the credit. And you have an opportunity to do something awesome for somebody today. Now, it might not be closed commission. It might not turn into a kitchen table tonight or tomorrow. But there's a conversation you're going to have today that's going to be life-altering for somebody. Now, I know that sounds hyperbolic. Timmy's making these grandiose statements. I'm trying to share my perspective with you. And what I've seen since I got into this industry, what I've seen since I became the coach for the Market Center, is your conversation with someone today can change the course of their path for home ownership. You might have conversations today. You got a client that's buying their 5th house, their 19th house. They count too. You're helping them build wealth and security and opportunity for their family as well. That's important too. But as I said at the top of the conversation at 8:30, I want to talk about the small wins. I want to talk about the importance of the small wins because we're so worried about the big deal. And this is why we talk about at bats. This is why we talk about families served. This is why I've begged you for years to ignore the volume and the GCI. It's not that they're not important. Those are important. And that's how our industry measures success. I want you to be focused on significance. Success is something, it's almost like from bold. Be, do, have. We talked about be, do, have, and bold. And it's now be, do, achieve. Because you can have something and have it taken away. You can be perceived as successful and then start to lose that success. It starts to wear off. But when you do something significant, when you help someone change their life, that can't go away. So when we start to focus on families served, at bats, the amount of humans we're going to move the needle for today, that's way more important than have I capped yet? Where's my GCI? How much volume do I have under contract or have I sold? And I'm not saying those things aren't great. They are. Those big numbers are exciting. I'm not saying they aren't. But it's about creating raving fans. And it's about celebrating all the wins. We talk about the class. Gary talks about this all the time. You've heard us talk about this. One of the classes I love teaching, not as much as tomorrow. My favorite class to teach is Business Planning Clinic. Right behind that, Quantum Leap. It's Gary's love letter to real estate. And when people hear that, they think of two things. They think of the show from the 80s with Scott Bakula. That's not what we're talking about. People hear Quantum Leap, and I think, and we're not all physics majors, so stay with me on this. I'm certain that was a horrible, horrible time in my life. People hear Quantum Leap, and quantum is micro, not macro. It's about consistent, compounding actions. It's if you are heading to mega camp, or what is it in February? Our next big trip in February will be Anaheim. When you get on that plane in Boston, heading to LAX, God help us, that plane does not fly perfectly straight across the country. First of all, there are flight paths, but above and beyond that, there's micro transitions taking place the entire time. It's about small, systemic movements in the right direction. And you having that conversation with that next person today. You helping the Andersons start to fix their credit so Ted and Stacy can buy their first home in 7 years. You're not going to go on Facebook and celebrate that, but you just put them on the pathway to home ownership. That's freaking important. Everything you do today to care for other people is really freaking important. And we can't do that if we don't guard our time and remain selfish before 12. So we can be selfless afterwards, right? We grow our business in the morning, we run it in the afternoon. We book appointments, we contact people in the morning, we meet with them, and we move them forward in the afternoon. We sit in Vermont contracts, risk mitigation, and land deals with Jason Westcott. On the first part of our day, I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to grow me. Bold law, my business grows to the extent that I do. And in the afternoon, I can be selfless. It's about everyone else. We never let it get to everyone else if we don't build us. And you've got to be okay with that. So if you're feeling guilty because you're reading that book, if you're feeling guilty because you're going to the gym, if you're feeling guilty because you decided to stop drinking for a month, a quarter, a year, your life, and you've got friends that want to go out. Don't worry about it. If we work on us, we deliver a better product to the masses. And if you're here right now, if you've chosen to play with Nathan Dickey, if you've chosen this model, if you've chosen Keller Williams, you're already a phenomenal person. You already get it. You already know this model, this whole space that we play in is wildly different. You're surrounded by phenomenal people. And when you're having conversations with these people, like attracts like. And when everyone around you is working on them, that allows you to work on you. So then you can go in the afternoon and work with and for and on others. Be selfish in the morning so you can be selfless in the afternoon. And all those little wins matter. Celebrate those. Share it with a peer. Text me, text Zoe, text anybody on our staff. Because if you're plugging in, I trust our phenomenal staff is probably helping you move forward. If there's something we can do to help you move forward, please share that as well. One of our great staff members that's here to help, you want to get that contract off your desk? Let Jason Houle deal with it. You go to Fulcrum TS, FULCRUMTS.com, FulcrumTS.com. It's TC@FulcrumTS.com if you want to email him. Get him on your roster. We'll talk about this tomorrow in Business Planet Clinic. Let him be a cost of sale for you, $325 per side. Your brokers are on today in just minutes. Vermont Contract starts at 9 o'clock. We've got Attorney Hyde in the building from 10 to 12 for risk mitigation. You got a question for the brokers? Jason's cell phone, 603-234-2589. The email for your brokers is broker@KWCLM.com. Broker@KWCLM.com. You need your coaching staff, you can reach out to me. It is meetwithcoach.com to jump onto my calendar. If you get to my calendar and nothing is immediate, I'm telling you to grab the next date and then shoot me a text and say, hey, do you have a minute so we can talk? I'm here for you guys. My job as your coach is to help you think differently. My job as your coach is to clear the space between your ears. The most difficult real estate on planet America to own is the 5.5 inches between your ears. Can we get that clear? Can we make sure it's tethered to your heart so you can move forward? That's my job, is to help you think differently so you can get what you want when you want it. And you can have anything you want. I trust the only thing between you and where you want to be might be you. Questions, comments, concerns, hopes, and dreams, or just need some help with a script. And if you don't like scripts, get over it. 603-834-2856. We are thrilled to be in business with you. We know you wake up every morning, you could go play anywhere. We're thrilled that you're playing in our space. As Will Ferrell said in the Blue Oyster Cult skit on SNL, explore the space. There's a lot here that you may not be leaning into. There are a ton of resources you may not be leaning into. No judgment. I've said this a million times. If you can't find something you're looking for, please raise your hand so we can point it out. And if we don't have it, I guarantee Gary's building it. We are not perfect. It is not about perfection. It's about progress. We are failing forward faster than anybody else on the planet. I assure you of that. It's a hell of a ride. I'd love for you to jump on. We'll see you soon. Have a great day. KellerTV.com. It starts in minutes.